Hi everyone. It's such a privilege to be sharing again today, where we're closing our series on how to manage conflict in our daily lives. We anchored ourselves during these past few weeks in a verse in Isaiah 58 that gives a promise to conflict, entering into that door of conflict, but also a condition of the process that it takes to deal with conflict. We likened it over the past few weeks to a door that you open, the conflict door, and then the process being the tunnel of chaos that you have to walk through in order to restore relationships to the reality that God has over our relationships. Isaiah 58 says, "You will be known as those that can fix anything, if you are willing to build and rebuild from the ruins of the past." We spoke about the ability to deal with the spirit of the abuse of freedom, how to deal with that conflict. We spoke about the spirit of fear and how that keeps us away from entering that tunnel of chaos and restoring relationships. But we can go through both those and never experience the healing that is locked up in the spirit of forgiveness. How many relationships do you have as you're sitting there that you can say lacks authenticity and lacks wholeness because one of the two parties in that relationship has had an inability to forgive? Genesis 34 tells the story where Dinah goes out into a city and she gets raped by the prince Sichem. She comes back, her father Jacob doesn't do anything, and then these brothers, her brothers, come and they make a plan in order to get revenge. Their inability to forgive resulted, when you read the story in Genesis 34, in the decimation of an entire city. And maybe our relationships are hurting because of our inability to forgive. Matthew 5:23 makes it very clear. It says, "So if you are at the altar with your gift, and there remember that a brother has something against you." Now listen carefully to these words. Not that you have something against your brother, but when you are at the altar and you recognize and you remember that a brother has something against you, stop with what you're doing. Go to that brother and get reconciled. This piece of scripture talks about our ability to ask for forgiveness. I remember the one evening driving home quite late, feeling very sorry for myself, bringing home the bacon, and people at home now need to look after me as I get home. Drove into the driveway and I tried to close the garage door. Now it's one of those garage doors that's got these wooden lattices that close onto each other. I pressed the button and the door only closed halfway. Pressed the button again, opened. And a few times I tried to close this door. I got so frustrated that I took that little red handle and pulled it. Now there's a reason why it's red. It's because it says danger. I pulled the little red tag and the whole door slammed down. In my tiredness and in my stupidity, I tried to then stop the door. And I put my hand right between the lattices and this finger got caught in the door. Now I don't know if you've seen those movies where the whole door is closed but your finger is stuck in there and you don't know what it's going to look like when you take it out again. I dropped my bag and I tried to open the door. I took my finger out and it was bent like this. As I now walked in or ran into the house, so now my wife has to look after me, my daughter crawls from under the one car with the other remote. And what she'd been doing is she'd been closing the door every time that I tried to open it. I lost it. I absolutely lost it. I yelled at her until she got into a room. My wife put stuff on my finger, and after a while, when I got a bit better, I went up into a room and I made this fatal mistake. So spot the mistake. I said, "Nina, I did something wrong. I yelled at you. I am very sorry." And without a moment's hesitation, the word "but" followed. "But you should not have done this, that, and the other." You know how many times we think that we ask for forgiveness, but every time that we put the word "but" in there, nothing in our relationships get healed. Nothing. Later that evening, I walked past Nina's door and I heard these small little sobs behind her door. I walked through the door and she was crying. She said, "Daddy, I'm so sorry. Daddy, I'm so sorry." And then she taught me this gift. She gave me this gift and she says, "Daddy, will you forgive me?" And in that moment, the Spirit just awakened in my spirit the reality that our relationship will remain broken if I do not ask for my daughter's forgiveness. We sat there together and I said, "Nina, will you forgive me?" And because there was no but in there, our relationship was restored. The little sobs went away and she slept like a baby and I slept well. If there's a spirit of unforgiveness in your relationship, doesn't matter what relationship, and every time that you engage in that, and there's the word but in there, that relationship will never get healed. I want to encourage you, when you are at the altar, when you are at your office, where you are, wherever you are, and you remember that something or somebody has something against you, leave what you're doing. Go to that brother and get reconciled through these simple words that Nina taught me. Will you forgive me? I pray and I hope that you, in your family, in your business, and in our country, we will be able, in these few months to come, to open the door of conflict with God. Go through the tunnel of chaos with His Spirit and get to the reality of His promises and His healing that He has given us through His Son Jesus Christ because of the courage of dealing with conflict. I pray for you, I pray for your family, I pray for your business. Let us all pray for our country.